Welcome in, everybody. We are the Definitely Dads. We're your hosts. I'm Zach. That's Justin, the other screen. It's episode 107, and we are still on our trek to finding the, what do I want to say, celebrity that fits the celebrity weight that's closest to the episode number we're on. That's like the easiest way to say it.
One. Yeah.
So you just admittedly said you didn't have one. The only one I thought of, and I think this came from, I saw a preview about it, or like there was a commercial that had a bunch of different like clips from movies and stuff.
Right.
And V for Vendetta was on there.
Okay.
Natalie Portman, tiny dude.
Yeah, she's little, huh?
She's super skinny.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's that tall either. I think she's
No, she's gotta be like 5'2".
yeah, she's not very tall. And she's
My dog is pulling my cord from a microphone straight down.
I was like, what are you doing?
She was just laid at my feet and her head pulled the cord down.
Okay, I was going to say about the dog thing. Last week I talked about how
It's Nala.
there she is. There's Nala. I tried to use the event from last week to say, hey, I think we should think about getting a dog. And Bree just shook her head and laughed. And so it wasn't a very positive, it wasn't great feedback.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I was hoping for.
It's a process though. You just got to keep up.
We're just keep going after it. But
I told you, Christina it was absolutely not with Christina probably 8 months prior to us getting a dog.
Yeah.
So
we just went out last night to dinner with some friends, and they have a German Shepherd and a Golden Retriever.
Okay.
And he was talking about how much he loved having a German Shepherd. And I was kind of like, nudging her, like, see,
look at
like we could have that.
There's health benefits for kids too. Just try that one. Try a change up.
Because that didn't spark any better conversation over time like I was hoping. So we'll see. We'll just have to keep going. But you guys, you're still happy with Nala, obviously.
She's great. Yeah.
The boys still love her. She doesn't have a fork sticking out of her leg, so she's obviously doing okay.
No, it's cute because after school, the kids and her, there's this mutual freak out episode every day of the kids coming home and them seeing her. And it's a good time. So, and she's a good dog. She'll be 5 months old tomorrow, but she's like, fully
really
house trained and sleeps through the night and doesn't chew on anything too bad. I think the thing she chewed up, we actually had her in the backyard yesterday when I left, and she chewed up Jaden's scooter handle, but the other one's already off, and I literally have like athletic tape on one of the handles.
Yep.
So he doesn't care. It'll be fine. So it was nothing too bad. She's chewed up a couple helmets. So, but other than that, she doesn't, no shoes, nothing super expensive. She's just a big goof.
How are the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim doing now? Last week you had shared about the squad. We
avenged our one loss. Yeah.
We got the one loss.
We played again. We won again. We
You're
pretty
just a
much
machine at this point.
Yeah, we cruise our way through every game except that Orioles team because they're good.
It's just like in real life.
Yeah, but our two teams are a clear cut above the rest. I can we're good for 15 runs every week. And I got kids now catching pop flies and fielding ground balls. And I think I might have told you this last week. I had a kid I say routine, but it's not routine in this league because they're literally 6 and 7 years old. But a kid hit a ground ball to our shortstop, and he fielded the ball all the way in the air from shortstop, had to put out at first base, and our first baseman caught it. And I had the coach of the Orioles, one of the assistant coaches, came up to me last week before our game. So it was after we had played them. When we played the Orioles, this is when that play happened. And one of the assistant coaches came up and was like, you guys are good. And he's like, I've never seen a kid make a play like that in this league.
A 6'3" put out in an 8U league is pretty uncommon.
It's 7U.
Or
and
7U
the ball traveled in the air the whole way to the base. But yeah, we got a group of kids. They're good. You can tell I probably got 7 of my 13 kids are actual like baseball players.
Yeah.
Like you can tell they are ball players. And so yeah, they're but we have the week off. We don't have any games this week because it's spring break for the kids. And
nice.
On Sunday though, we actually get to go to the Angel Guardians game.
Oh,
and so
cool.
we show up early. We'll get to walk the perimeter of the
Morning
field.
track. Yeah.
And that's always fun. We did it last year. Here's what's kind of funny. Ron Washington is the manager of the Angels.
Great guy.
He was a lot bigger than he looks on TV. And that's a thing for baseball guys. People don't realize how big baseball players are because, whether it's just height, but sheer size. Most of these guys, a lot of these baseball players are our size. Just like any other athlete, they're big. Ron Washington, dude, was a big guy. And big hands. He was right by us. He had his fungo out and was hitting ground balls to the Angels last year. And that was surprising. But I'm excited to go do it again this year. And Jackson gets to go on the field with us now.
I mean, you said that's your favorite place to watch baseball,
Dude,
in all of the world,
so good,
right?
Dude.
So.
It's the weather.
Just
Traffic's way lighter. It's just. I mean, it's Orange County. You're in Orange County.
I was gonna say,
it's just, it's hard to beat that. You get a nice cold beer in your hand, and it's just. You got the Honda Center in the background, and the train station in the 57 freeway. Disneyland's right behind you.
I was gonna say, Disneyland's what? Less than 15 minutes away from that place? 20 minutes away?
No, you're 5. It's right. It's
5
right
minutes?
off. Yeah, it's
right there.
Like in between Angel Stadium and Disneyland, there's tons of hotels and restaurants. It's right there. So if you got off the 57 and you got off Angel Stadium's right there, if you just kept driving down that road, you'd bump into Disneyland about 2 miles down the road.
Yeah, it's wild.
So, it's fun.
And here we are talking about the first place Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim after getting blown out by the White Sox, arguably the worst team in MLB history last year. The Angels lose game 1 to them, have to throw a position player on the mound.
Position player. Did I text? I texted you. Huh? That's so typical.
But now
Angels.
here they are. They're winning.
They just got crushed today. Actually, right when we started recording our sports episode, I put the game on in the 8th inning because it was 4-5 Cardinals, and then as soon as I flipped to the game, it was 12-4.
Oh, boy.
So
Well,
the wheels fell off. But
real quick before I don't want to go too deep down this road because we have a sports episode for this kind of stuff. But Anthony Rendon, worst contract in maybe all of sports history.
It's looking that
fair?
way, and his attitude sucks. Dude, if you go to an Angel game and he's playing, they boo him. And Orange County fans are like notorious for being laid back.
They're very chill.
Yeah, dude, to get booed at Angel Stadium is a big deal. And every time he got up to bat, I went to the game last year he played when we went with the Little League kids, he got booed. The year before that, we went to a couple games, and every time he hit, he got booed.
Have you seen that stat that said Ted Williams in the 5 years that he played where he left for 2 years to go fight in the war has played more games than Anthony Rendon has since he joined the Angels?
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy went and fought in a world war and came back and just played more baseball in the same amount of time that Anthony Rendon has. Unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I just saw a video that said, like, name a harder drop-off in sports than him. Because he was a legend in Washington for a while. And
dude, they loved him. He was an MVP candidate.
Yeah. And then as soon as he got over to the Angels, it just kind of fell off.
Yeah, it's crazy. I will say, I did send you a video of me and Micah out at the field.
Yeah.
We were playing. Here's what I'm excited about with him. He naturally stood on the left side of the plate.
Oh.
Like to swing lefty. And his hands were the right way and everything. He had his left hand on top, right hand on bottom. He put them close together, stood right on the side. And I was like, certified baseball guy. I don't even have to tell him. He just knows.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to keep doing that. We got a little tee and a tee ball set. So I'm going to keep pumping him, with reps and get him outside.
He's 4?
He's 4. He'll be 5 in July. So yeah, we're gonna keep going that route. Unfortunately, I think he'll be like a DH guy because he doesn't like the ball being thrown at him. Doesn't like using his glove. So we got to train that out of him. I might just stand him up against the wall and pelt him with baseballs till he's not afraid. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. But that was a joke, by the way, for everybody listening. That was a joke. I'm not going to do that to my kid.
He's afraid to catch the ball, or he just doesn't like to do it.
No, he does the back away. Like if you toss the ball, even like to his glove side hand,
the 2-hand,
and he kind of that's what he does this. Like he kind of leans back away from it. I'm like, it's okay.
What about other stuff? If you threw him a football,
Just no hand-eye coordination. It's not great.
Okay.
The hand-eye coordination is not great.
but is
So-
is that fear still there with something soft?
No, not in the same way. Not in the
Okay.
same way. So
what I would do is I would get him. It doesn't even have to be a glove. Just get him used to catching stuff. So if it's
Yeah.
soft, because a lot of the time with the kids at these ages, like they just need to know, if I want to catch something in the air, I can catch it. And so
Yeah.
a lot of times if they get used to like catching, even like those, I don't even know if they still sell them, but remember those big baskets that had the big squishy balls for like $1 when we were growing up?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If you had like one of those and you just kept throwing it to him and you got him used to catching something, because then he knows he can catch stuff. And I think with
Yeah.
a lot of kids, that's the fear. And then you give them a hard baseball and a small glove. But if they get the concept of like, oh, I know I can catch this because I've caught in that ball, I catch that football, I catch that whatever it is, that helps.
Yeah. What I've actually
So-
been tossing to him is we have they're called dryer balls. So it's like basically a
As a-
lint screen
yeah,
for your
those are
dryer.
great.
That's what I toss to him. And I'll just around the house we'll play with them and I'll toss them to him to have him try to catch those.
Do you have those little golf ball wiffle balls?
No, but I have similar ones that actually have Velcro on them because I got a little
Okay.
mat that you like hang up and then you chip the ball at it and it sticks to
Yeah.
the mat kind of a thing. I have one of those.
So one of the drills I do with my kids, and I haven't done it in a while, but when I first had this group of kids 2 seasons ago, I would have them on first base, and this was really to help my first baseman, but you could do it for anything. I had them take off their gloves and just like an open palm and just one hand, and then you get close, you get 5 feet away, you get on the knee.
Yeah.
And then what I tell the kids is, I'm going to throw these little, and it's just the golf ball sized wiffle balls, so they're like lime green. And I just kind of softly toss them overhand. And what I tell the kids is, don't catch it, but keep your other hand back and keep your catching hand up. And I just want you with your palm hitting each
Yeah.
ball.
Yep.
Because then that helps them get the hand eye coordination. And stuff like that will drastically help him with that. He's 4, dude. He's
Yeah.
little. It's hard to. Jackson's not afraid of the ball, but Jackson will still do the thing where he'll stick his arm kind of far out. But Jackson
Yeah.
can catch.
Yeah.
Jackson will stick his arm out and he'll catch balls and stuff. But I mean, I think that's pretty normal. So
Yeah. Yep. We're just getting started. So, yeah, I'm excited for playing more baseball with him, and
Jeez.
it's going to be a good time.
once
And
you're in, it's the best thing in the world, dude.
I never had considered coaching before actually being out there with him and watching him play. And I'm like, this might actually be a good time to go out and
Yeah, and also if you didn't coach, just because of who you, dude, and it's great. People volunteer. I'm all for people volunteering in Little League and kids rec sports. It's needed. But like seeing the guys now, even in my league that coach, like me and the Orioles manager, I can tell right out of the gate we're the only 2 baseball guys, like baseball players. The rest are like dads that had like, maybe high school JV baseball potential. So you can tell the difference. And for you, you're going to sit there if you did a season where you didn't coach and you had Joe Schmo coaching your kid, you're going to be like, oh, sweet Lord. Because I actually had that thought. I'm like, if my kid ever got, and this was the coach, I'd be like, you ain't playing. I ain't doing this. This is not, this is counterproductive to your progress.
Yeah. Do you
so-
still remember all the drills that you did on your team, like baseball
Yeah.
drills day in and day out? How much
Yeah.
of that do you feel like you use with your guys and just modify it to their age, obviously?
With my, I push my kids probably a little more than most coaches this age. Like I do full infield work. The drills are just hard though because you gotta like they're so little, and a lot of it's just keeping it. Or if it's not organized, it's not productive. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I've taken away for anybody wanting to get into coaching your kids. And like I said, I'm strictly just baseball, but I'm sure this is applicable in anything you're coaching them in. If it's not organized, if they can't stay organized during the drill, it's not worth doing because they're not paying attention. They're not actually learning, and you're not going at the speed you need. Dude, you'd be shocked at how fast an hour and a half practice goes by.
Yeah.
I'm constantly
Especially
looking
when
at
you're
my
just
watch.
corralling them half of the time
right.
just to get them together.
So whatever you can do to get them practicing and then getting as many reps and having fun and paying attention, that's going to be your best. And so a lot of these drills, if I do tee work, like we had batting cages last week, and I worked with only 3 kids on the tee. I had everyone else in the cages, the 2 cages we have hitting live, and then I pulled 3 kids at a time, and I spent about 20 minutes with each one for that hour we had the cages, working on their swing and some of the stuff that we're seeing. But again, when they're little, and this is a baseball thing, and even with Micah, what I would encourage you to do with him is I have parents on my team. Elbow up, wider stance. Dude, it doesn't matter right now.
Yeah.
They're too little. Like,
Yep.
I have like 5 kids on my team that have legit baseball, like legit baseball. I'm like, dude, you guys can play baseball for a long freaking time if you want. But I tell parents, and I even tell my assistant coaches, if a kid is comfortable at this age and he's making contact, don't change anything yet. Let him get the confidence of hitting a baseball every time. Get him the confidence of hitting the ball hard. Let him get on base. Don't elbow up. That doesn't matter at this point. It just doesn't. And so with Micah, just if he's making contact, replicate that over and over again.
Yep.
Hitting the ball every time. And then at that point, then as he gets older and he starts noticing, like one of the things with Jaden now is Jaden's starting to recognize the power he has. And he didn't know that. That's the difference between Jaden and Jackson. Jackson swings out of his shoes right now. He doesn't hit the ball as hard as Jaden, but Jackson's hitting the ball harder than Jaden hit it when Jaden started this league at 6, and Jackson just turned 5. And Jackson's already hitting the ball harder a year younger than Jaden was when he first started. So Jackson has a more natural inclination to swing hard, to just, be
he
violent.
puts more effort into it. Yeah.
Jaden is learning, though, and that's come with now me pointing Jaden aside separately and being like, hey, do this, and this is what you want to do. Like, and now he knows, he sees when he hits the ball far. And he's starting to piece it together. And so then I can tell him now at 7, hey, do you want to keep hitting the ball further? And he's like, yeah, I do. I said, okay, now let's do this. And so it just takes time, and you just got to keep watering it, letting it grow, and then you just adjust from there. But I mean, I have some kids that, I have a kid on my team who struggles a lot, and he's a sweet kid, sweet family. But right now, it's like there's not a drill I could do to help him right now. Like, and there might be coaches that heavily disagree with that statement, but like, dude, when you know, and I just, and so, and I'm not gonna just like plunk that kid with these heavy, mechanical drills to help him. I need to do simple stuff. And even with him, I use a lot of superhero stuff. I'm like, who's your favorite superhero? And he's like, okay, so who's the bad guy for that? And he'll say bad guy. I'm like, okay, you got to hit this bad guy as hard as you can. Like, that's all I'm doing to generate a little bit more oomph behind him.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean, you're an athletic dude, and he's going to be big. He's going to have a lot of power.
Hopefully
keep that swing small and tight.
That's it. We just got to teach him, hey, you got to know when to pull the hands in and when to extend the arms. Those are the two. If you can get your hands inside, that's nice. But yeah. I mean, I don't do drills or anything with him right now. Like, we just bought that tee, so we just go outside. I just pop the tee up.
You don't
for
need
him.
to. Don't do drills with him.
And
just let him hit reps.
Yep. But like I said, the thing I love is he's naturally going to swing lefty. Like he goes up and his hands are the right way and he puts them together. And
now, if you throw a ball overhand like this to him, can he hit that too?
He can. It's not square. He won't square it up. He'll make contact sometimes, but like mostly foul tips. He's not. Yeah. He's not driving the ball at all or squaring it up yet. He's just So that's why I got the tee for him. Yeah,
we had a tee, and is it that red tee that screws into the blue, like the Fisher Price one?
No, it's like a MLB one, but I mean it's heavy and it's got sand in the leg, so it stays upright, and it's got the rubber piece that the ball sits in, but it's not Fisher Price. It's like an MLB one.
I started with my boys at about 1.5 years. Both my boys, I could throw soft, but I could throw softly overhand and with those wiffle balls, and they were crushing them. And so, but again, that's just like I started that at a young age. And they both have my baseball stuff. And so all that stuff, but again, dude, tees, soft toss, if you just do it every day, even for 10 minutes, it makes a huge freaking difference. So drills and stuff, you're going to have tons of time for that. Drills also bore kids. Yeah. And if kids are bored, then they lose interest. And so, again, there's a fine line at finding the age, and I'm finding it right now, like I said, with my older kids in this league. I'm coaching basically 3 different teams. I got my really good kids. I got my kids that are age appropriate and kind of where most kids are, and then I have my kids that I'm just like, oh boy,
you're and I'm coaching a great math teacher someday.
And so I actually have to coach. I have like 3 levels of how I coach within one team, but it's my favorite thing in my life right now is coaching that baseball team.
It's great.
So
it's a good time.
I love it.
Dads
But-
spend more time with kids, man. Teach them how to do stuff.
Yeah.
Teach them how to do stuff. Okay, well, I got some trivia for you real quick as we keep moving right along. Justin, I want to see, again, I know we've talked more sports in this episode than we have in a long
Kid
time because we
sports.
had the sports episode. That's true. It has been kid sports. Can you tell me there are, across the 4 major sports,
Okay.
so we're talking baseball, basketball, football, and hockey, right?
Okay.
NFL, MLB, NHL, and NBA. There are 6 teams that share names across the 4 major sports.
Ooh, okay. So wait.
Can-
Are there six teams total, including the doubles, or there's 6 names that are?
There are
there's
6 doubles.
Okay.
There are 6 doubles that have the same name across the 4 major sports. So
Cardinals
like,
and Giants.
Cardinals or Giants are 2 right off the bat. So you have the New York Giants and then the San Francisco Giants and then the Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, this is fun.
And you have 4 others.
Panthers, Florida and Carolina.
Panthers, Florida Panthers for hockey, Carolina Panthers. Yep.
I feel like that's it for the NFL. I don't think that there's any more. I don't think there's any more NFL doubles in the Panthers and the Cardinals and the Giants. I think I got the 3. So then you're looking at the Kings.
Kings, Los
LA and
Angeles
Sacramento.
Kings, Sacramento
Sacramento
Kings.
Kings.
That's another one. You got 2
And then-
more.
Okay.
You got 4 of them. You got 2 more.
Then you're gonna have feeling like these are gonna be. I think there's got to be some hockey stuff in there.
I will tell you this: the last 2 both have hockey
Yeah. Okay.
as one of the doubles.
Yeah.
It's hard going across all 4 sports to think like, okay, do I know all the teams here? All the teams here.
No, I'm trying to think. No, hold on. Just give me a sec. Did you get all? Did you know? Like, did you do
I
this
got
yourself?
5 of them. I got 5
Okay.
of them when I did this. I had 5. I
Okay.
couldn't come up with the last one, and I just blanked. I mean, I obviously know the teams. When you hear them, you're like, oh
Right.
yeah, duh. But
Oh, the Rangers.
that's it. Rangers. So you have the Texas Rangers and the
Do
New
do
York
I
Rangers.
have the one you didn't have, or am I missing the
No,
one?
this is the last one. I couldn't get it. It's the same last
the
one.
Jets.
That's it. It's
Yeah,
the Jets.
Winnipeg
Jets for hockey and the New York
Yeah,
Jets. Jets.
yeah.
I couldn't get that one.
Suck.
I just could. Yeah, both those teams. Maybe you should change your name from the Jets if you see those teams.
Dude, Winnipeg's the best team in hockey.
I guess right now they are, huh? That's true.
Yeah, they're cruising.
but
Kings just beat
historically,
them, but
they haven't been good.
well, they're new. They're newish,
Yeah. So,
little newish.
um,
Oh, that was good. That was a fun one.
yeah, it was a good one, and you nailed it, dude. Knocked it out. I basically did the exact same as you. I had the football ones, rattled those ones off really quick, and then the Rangers one took me a little longer, and then I never thought of the Jets.
You know, once I got the Kings, I was pretty sure that there's no other NBA. NBA names are unique. I don't
They
know
are.
why. They're just
Yeah.
a little. They're less generic.
Yeah. Grizzlies, Bulls, Hornets, Warriors,
Knicks.
Knicks, the Knickenbockers.
The Warriors. That seems like I'm surprised there's not like a Warriors
Yeah.
team somewhere.
Oklahoma City Thunder. Like that's a weird.
The Miami
that's-
Heat, Utah Jazz, like those are
Right.
that stuff you'd catch
Yeah.
right away.
Right. Yeah. Nice. Well, moving right along into the second half of our episode, Justin and I, we wanted to have a conversation about, well, we're not the only parents in our household. It turns out, we
Fortunately.
we have wives, but I don't know about your kids. My kids often act like my wife is actually the only parent in the household.
Huh.
They will walk by me sitting on the couch to go
Yeah.
ask my wife a question. Does that
Yeah.
happen to you?
I don't think they're like asking mom, so they don't have to get my answer first. I think they walk by me when they just need something. They typically, if mom and dad are home, it's like I'm gonna ask mom for this.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like the generic
Okay.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
like they will walk by me to ask Bree a question, and she will constantly say, "You have 2 parents," because she's doing whatever.
yeah.
And often, I know both of our wives, we recognize are hardworking and they do a lot. They're both full-time employees.
Yep.
They work full-time
Yeah.
and they come home and are full-time moms as well. And it can be overwhelming for them. So how do you help your wife around the house? Well, that's not even really the right question. How do you prevent your kids from overwhelming your wife?
Yeah.
That's probably a better question.
Well, I think women, in comparison to men, have it's easier to tell, I think, when women are overwhelmed. Because there's times when I think, I know dads and I get overwhelmed, but I think it's just naturally easier for me to kind of keep myself together. And again, in part of that was not my dog. I think part of it, I'm trying to get the same camera angle here. I do think part of it and that overwhelming feeling that moms and women get with their kids is that they are naturally just more needy for stuff. And so like if me, so this goes back to what you're saying. If me and Christina are both sitting on the couch watching a show and one of the kids are hungry, they will come up and ask Christina for a snack. It won't be me first.
Right.
And so stuff like that. I thought your question was more in regards to like, I want a gummy worm, but I don't think Dad's going to say yes, so I'm going to go ask Mom instead.
No. They do that too. They'll play that game every once in a while, depending on who. And Cammie has gotten to the point with that. I know this is a sidetrack. We're going a little off course here, but Cammie has gotten to the point where she knows if she asks, because she asks a lot for like sweets and candy.
Right.
She'll go to Micah and say, "Hey, go ask
that's jaded.
go ask Dad. Go ask Dad
Yeah.
if we can have dessert tonight or whatever."
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
then Micah comes out like this little happy guinea pig, like, "Can we have dessert tonight?" or whatever.
Yeah. What I'm
So-
waiting for right now in my household is I'm waiting for the day, because they'll figure it out. I'm waiting for the day my boys start going to Sophia and having Sophia ask me. Because
That'll be a harder no.
Judge me all you want. I have a lot harder time saying no to Sophia.
Yeah.
And so, but the day I start sniffing that crap, oh boy, I'm gonna know.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, why are you asking this, Soph?
Yeah.
So, but I think with that is, I don't know. I just try to organically just take some of the load off, whether it's taking them away. There's been times when I know Christina's overwhelmed and I'll just grab all three kids and like, let's go wrestle. And they all want to go wrestle in the room. And that gives her, a little bit more space. I know one of the places she gets really overwhelmed in is like if she's making dinner and the kids are just swarming in the kitchen with her. She's like, you guys got to get the heck out of my
that's so
way.
true. Yep.
And so I try to do small stuff like that, and not letting the kids even know, like it's normal for moms to get overwhelmed, but I don't want the kids to feel like, oh, I'm stressing Mom out, or, you know what I mean? So I try to kind of very organically separate the situations when I can or when I notice it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a set method, I guess, every time to do it. I just, if I sense it, I'm like, all right, we gotta get out of the way here.
Yeah. No, that's real. I think knowing your wife and knowing what triggers she has, I think I've said this before, the kitchen sink, when the kitchen sink is full of dishes.
Yeah.
My wife feels very overwhelmed, and it could be a great day. But if she walks in and there's a plate or even a sink full of dishes, I can see it, and I can see an immediate transition to where she'll start moving a little more frantically than normal.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay.
It's like the double time. They start moving faster, and you're like,
I know what's going on. I can see what's going on. And like Bree had that the other day. And on a little more serious note, like I know my wife has had a history of struggling with anxiety, had some anxiety attacks, like even to the point where we've been in the ER a couple times. And that sucks. That's not fun.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't want to get there. And so I know she was feeling a little bit of that earlier this last week. And so I just said like, hey, because a lot of my wife's stress is like mental stress, where she's thinking about so many things. We got a trip coming up. We're taking vacation. I got to pack for the kids. What are we going to do for dinner on Friday night while my mom's here? Like she's thinking of all that stuff. And what was really helpful is, because I don't know what's going on in her brain.
It's not a big deal.
Just chill out. No, I get smacked if I did that. That's how you wake up with a knife in between your shoulder blades in the middle of the night.
or a suitcase getting packed.
Right. But But I had her just make a shared note with me on the phone.
Right.
And she just called it brain dump. And she just threw everything on there. She's like, here's all the things I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And so if I could go through that and just knock out a couple of those things for her, so
Yeah.
that way it's just like, oh, I don't have to do that. Great. Those little, it doesn't have to be big, grandiose gestures of like, let me redo this whole thing for you. It's, hey, let me pull the salmon out of the fridge for you because I know that's what we're having for dinner. Or like even
Right.
earlier, she texted me. She's like, hey, did you put the salmon in the fridge
Mhm.
when you left from the house? Yep, I did it. So
Yeah.
little things like that just she carries such a mental load on her brain all the time because she's always thinking about stuff. I just try to do some of that stuff.
Right.
And with the kids, yeah, I'll take them to the park. Like we got a park
Right.
that's less than 2 minutes away for us to drive there. And I'll say, yeah, let's go to the park, kiddos, and mom can have 15, 20 minutes by herself, or I'll come
Right.
up with something. But the problem with some of this, and I think we've talked about this before, my kids don't listen to my wife in the same way.
Yeah.
That is an issue.
Yeah.
That's an issue in our house.
Yeah.
Um,
Does Bree acknowledge that? Does she know
oh
that?
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Literally last night, I was in Micah's room, laying on his bed as he's getting ready, getting his jammies on. It just because he takes a little more focus to get things done. He gets sidetracked very easily,
Right.
and when he's in his room with all his toys out, it'll be like, "Hey, dude, go get ready for jammies," and I'll come back 15 minutes later and he's still naked in his bedroom playing with his cars because he
Yeah.
just doesn't think like,
Right.
oh, I need to get jammies on. He just wants to play. So I was in his room with him trying to keep him focused and on task, and Bree came up to me and she's like, Cammy is pissing me off. I'm paraphrasing, but Cammy's pissing me off. She's not listening to me. I need you to do something about it.
Yeah.
Really. And so I'm like, okay. So I got up, went in there. And with Cammy especially, I think it's because she's our firstborn, but also because I got a bulk of time with her. I was the primary caregiver when she was 0 to 2 years old because
Right.
Bree went back to working full time.
Yeah.
So I brought her with me to the church when I was working there. She was with me at all
Right.
my staff meetings, all that stuff. So she listens to me.
Right.
And I went in there and I was like, hey, you're being super disrespectful to mom. It's not going to happen. If she asks you to do something, because here's Cammy's thing. It's this little, and we've read books about it and stuff. Cammy has this way of this little subversive undertone of I'm in charge and I'm going to do what I want.
Right.
And she does it by little things. Like I'll ask her, hey, it's after dinner. Can you go wash your hands? And she'll be like, yeah, I'm just going to grab this thing first.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, it's not a problem, but you're doing what you want first before I ask you to do something.
Right. Right.
Now, is that a huge deal in that moment? No, but she's like
Right.
reinforcing this idea that she's not listening to us first.
Right,
She's
right.
doing what she wants.
Right.
And we've tried explaining that to her, and
Yeah.
we're still learning. We're still
Yeah.
learning that. But she's enforcing her will before
Right.
we ask to do anything. So
Right.
so it's this little game that we play, and that's what was happening. And Bree was like, I asked you to come into the room. I asked you to come into this bathroom to go to the bathroom so we could get ready for bed. She didn't want to, so she comes to the back bathroom, which is all the way across the house for no reason whatsoever, right? So then Bree is like here.
Right.
She's like done. So I have to go in there to Cammy, and I'm like, hey, you're going to go apologize. You're being disrespectful, and here's why. And she'll respond to that. But if Bree did that for Cammy, she wouldn't respond
Right.
the same way. And I don't know if it's
Right.
just the mother-daughter dynamic, or if it's just because I have a different authority in her life. I don't know, but that's a tough game to play. And so when that happens, I obviously try to jump in then and help her out, help Bree out, and like,
Yeah.
because we're on the same team. Like we have to be on the same team to our kids, and we tell them that all the time.
Right.
Hey, me and mom are on the same team. And so it takes 2 yeses, but only 1 no to get what you want. If you ask
Right.
for ice cream, you need a yes from both of us. But if
Right.
it's a no from either one of us, then it's
Right.
not happening. So
Right.
that's one of our rules. And we try to tell them, hey, we're on the same team. And I want to make sure our kids know that as we get older and as they get older, like I'm going to be on mom's side before your side.
Right.
I don't know how
Right.
right or wrong that sounds. There might be some child psychologist out there that's like, you're ruining your kids. but I'm going to pick my wife 10 out of 10
I mean,
times.
you're also ruining them if you're not unified. So
Right. Like, I'm just
kind of the conundrum parents face.
yeah. And so I try to help her in that way and just try to prevent some of that stuff from happening. But
Right.
I don't know. Some of it feels inevitable. Sometimes kids just piss you off.
Yeah. It's funny because obviously, and we know this, there's a huge difference in parenting boys and girls.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
And so Cammie, being your girl, being your oldest, you have a certain way that you parent her. So I have the same issues you have, but I have my boys are on the front end of it. So
Right.
for me, it is different when it's my boys. And we haven't really run into that yet with Soph. Soph's got a little sass. She's got a little attitude now. Which I don't, it's not like extreme. It's just like, I think she's like a girl that's growing older.
She's learning how to say no.
Yeah. And just like can get a little, defiant or kind of just pouty, whiny. Where my boys, because they're my boys and they are like spitting images of me, I tolerate that with them less. Just entirely because you're a boy. That is your mom. I think like when it's Soph and it's the girls and the women, it's like, okay, well, there's definitely different dynamics because you already see the emotional, mental capacity that Sophia has is much more in line with her mom. Like the just the things that they process, their feelings and all that stuff. Where the boys, they'll do a lot of that stuff where I have ripped the boys in their room at 7 and 5. And I'm like, you sit on we have a little sofa toy that they can like build forts out of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, sit down. And I'll get on my knees right in front of them. And I'm like, I do not care if you don't want to do stuff. I don't care if you feel like you have other things you need to do. If your mom is asking you to do something, you need to do it. Because then Christina starts getting her. So I'm just curious for you, once Micah gets to that age, how you parent differently. Because I don't think I'll deal with Sophia the same way. Like I've told the boys, I said, hey, like first and foremost, your mom is my wife. So, above all else, she's your mom, but she's also mine.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you talk to her that's just not going to fly here. And if if I have to put the fear of God in them to do that right now, so be it. And, it is funny because there's this, and I don't really have this with Soph, and I don't know if you have this with Cammie. Again, the dynamic there, boys to girls, is a little different. Like there's been times where, and Christina has expressed frustration or discouragement with like the kids don't listen to me. And we're right there, and I think a lot of people I think it's just part of parenting with husbands and wives and moms and dads. But there are a few times when like, the boys they're just being kind of wild or disrespectful, not listening, and she'll come out and she'll get upset. And the boys they're at this age now, and this is really hard, is where they'll start feeding off each other if they're laughing and not taking something serious. Oh, dude, and like sometimes like we'll be pissed and then they'll start laughing, and I'm like, dude. When they're bouncing off each other, it's hard.
That's tough.
But there was a time, literally like in the last 2 weeks, where the boys were in the living room. Christina was standing behind the couch, kind of laying into him and frustrated they weren't listening. And she'd asked him to do something again. And I kind of slowly came down the hallway, and I just had that death stare, like that's the dad stare.
Mm-hmm.
And the boys were like, I could see the boys, like their eyes drifted from Christina and like looked at me, and they're like, oh shoot. And so there's sometimes stuff like that. And then obviously they listen. But it's just that, dude, you guys better freaking figure this out right now.
Yeah.
Because it's giving her that support and letting her know that even at the bottom of it all, like, and this as a guy, you do love and you respect your mom and you respect, but like a dad is different. There's just a different, like, and it might be a little bit of fear. I think there's a healthy amount of fear that dads provide their kids, just knowing the balance of life. And that's real life. Is there will be people that are above you that for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. You just have to listen. And so, trying to give her that support, even if it's just strictly like, I want their hearts to want to obey Christina for just in the genuineness of like, hey, this is our mom, we respect her. But if that's not there, the bottom floor will be, well, we need to listen to mom, even though we don't want to, because dad's.
Yeah, exactly.
That's half
the battle.
Right. I don't want the kids to obey Christina because of me, but if all else fails and there is an issue, well, we need to obey mom because dad says so. Like, that's the bottom line of like.
I've explained it to Cammie, like, because like I said earlier, we're on the same team. If you disrespect her, you're disrespecting me because we're on the same team. And
right.
that's like you said, that's my wife. And Cammy
Right.
was kind of like, but I'm like your oldest kid kind of a thing. And like, I was with your mom way before you were
Right.
around. I
Right.
fell in love with her first.
Right. Right.
It's like, I absolutely love you to pieces for sure,
Right.
but I'm going to choose
I can
mom
also
every
break
time.
you into pieces.
And I'm going to choose mom every single time.
Right.
And so there is that healthy, like, yeah, we're not going to disrespect mom because you're disrespecting me too.
Does Bree do the threaten the kids with dad thing? Like, don't make me get dad, or I will get dad. Like,
I don't know if she has yet,
Yeah.
because I think we've tried to avoid that
yeah,
because we're trying to teach that they need to listen to her too.
yeah,
And so if it's just every time, oh yeah, I'm going to go get dad, and then they listen, they're going to keep continuing to not listen to her.
right, right.
So it's like we wrestle with that, but I
We
think
don't do
we've
it a
tried
lot.
to avoid that.
Christina, if she's really overwhelmed and the boys are just not listening, and I'm, in the vicinity of our house, and I have heard her a handful of times use that, and as much as I hate it, there's part of me that kind of loves it. I'm like, oh, I gotta start getting ready, like I'm like stretching, like
Gotta go tame these wild animals.
and not from the sake of like a pride thing where it's like, oh, they'll listen to me, not her, but more of the sense of like the protector of like, oh, okay, like
Yeah, I get to go be dead. Yeah.
yeah, she's calling me in, like she
Yep.
needs me, and I'm coming.
Yep.
And so yeah, I don't know, but dude, yeah, it is an interesting thing, and it is actually helpful because I know that's one of the things right now Christina and I have really been battling with is like, why the hell do they not listen to her like they listen to me?
Yep.
But again, I mean, there is even, and this is, for me, this is more so, like I said, this is more boy specific for me right now because I have not really encountered this with our 3-year-old daughter.
Right.
She's very much a toddler, just kind of booping around, doing her own thing. But my boys, it's just challenging in getting them to respect mom, and there is a difference. And you're a guy, and this starts as a little kid. I remember being on the playground. Mom is 5'7", all of a low 100 and something pounds, and then you have dad who's 6'3" and 230 pounds, just bumbling down the hallway. Like there's a different, like there's just a difference, and so
Sure is.
Just
Well,
is what
and,
it is.
and guys operate on respect. Girls operate out of love. So
right.
it's a respect dynamic that I'm trying to teach Cammy, but she's perceiving that as how she feels loved. Where Micah, even though he's only 4, he understands the respect dynamic just because he's a boy already.
Right. Yeah.
He understands that if I give him the time of day, he knows he can ask for it. He knows as I teach him things. Yeah, he operates in that respect world. And so there's a mutual understanding between me and him, where with me and Cammy, it's different just because the dynamic of guy-girl. So all the things.
Yeah.
So we try to protect our wives. So out of all of this, I hope my wife listens to this episode and understands that I love her and I am trying to fight for her at times. Maybe whether she feels that way or not, I don't know. We'll see after this. But I hope that's what she hears out of all this. So
yeah.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, folks. Thanks for listening. Make sure that you hop onto our YouTube page. We've been recording, putting up episodes. Videos are on there. And we've even been putting those videos on Spotify as well. You can watch those too on our
videos
Spotify
on
page.
Spotify?
Yes, videos are on Spotify. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
So you can head to Definitely Dads and watch the videos there too. Or you can just listen to audio. Either one works
Turn
for
that
you.
phone sideways.
Like and subscribe. Follow us, get the alerts, let you know when we put out a new message, all that kind of stuff. So thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week with more.